You're watching Political Insight with Senator Bob McKnight.
All right, we're here with Senator Bob McKnight, and certainly an interesting question this week, something I've always pondered. A lot of elections going on out there. Senator Bill Nelson up for re-election, Congressman Steve Sutherland, just a lot of campaigns going on. And Sutherland, for example, that first time in office, so especially as a newcomer, how do you come about and decide to even run for office? What are, all these scenarios and questions? You're going to be asking yourself a lot of questions.
Greg, you do. I think you start out really as a devil's advocate. I think you say to yourself, do I have the burning desire? Do I think, all things considered, I've got even a 50% chance of winning? If I develop a budget, can I raise, I used to use the criteria of the very first day, 50% of the whole budget. A key organizational question. Campaigns are run out of precincts. Do I have at least one committed person to every precinct that I'm running in? Another question you could ask yourself, am I available to campaign? I used to use the criteria 12 straight hours for at least the final 2 weeks. Those are the kinds of questions you have to ask yourself, and sometimes you can kind of get lulled into this thing just by the excitement, your adrenaline flowing.
Well, let me ask you this, because we hear a lot about career politicians, and then they fight against those who, I'm an average Joe. So what are some of the pitfalls from kind of entering the world of politics?
I think the biggest is organization. See, when a candidate starts out, particularly Jay did a fine report on the candidates filing in Georgia, when a candidate starts out, it's improbable that they've got enough money to bring in a professional campaign manager. Now, if that's the case, Greg, and that's typically what happens, attention to detail, coordinating all this, there's a lot of emotion in a campaign. You can't let that get away from you.
And kind of going with that, we've only got about 15 seconds. You've won a number of campaigns in your career. Best advice to candidates would be what?
Well, I had a situation, maybe we can look at a real situation. I had a situation where I was running against an incumbent senator. I had to communicate a negative on him because he had some ethics problems. I came up, as your viewers can see with the logo, I came up with the idea of Bob McKnight Senate Integrity. It has two messages, Greg. One is negative in the sense that, well, if it's integrity, who's he running against? Is there somebody that doesn't have an integrity? And then on the positive sense, integrity being positive about myself. That's the kind of strategic branding you've got to have.
Got to end it there. The time always goes by too fast. Senator, thank you very much.
Greg.
All right, we've got health news coming up next. Let's check in with Meek on what's coming up.